Ahead on DC News Now, President Trump targets DC in a new executive order, saying he's going to clean up crime, immigration, and graffiti in the district. How local leaders are responding. At last, the Tidal Basin cherry blossoms reach peak bloom. Where else can you go to celebrate the pretty petals this weekend?
We've been tracking a few showers today across the DMV, but we'll let you know if there's any more rain in the forecast this weekend.
Plus, TikTok's time could be nearing the end. We're just days away from a critical deadline. What actions could the president take? And 50 years after the conclusion of the Vietnam War, DC News Now joins the country in honoring our veterans.
Watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Another sign of the season in the district. The cherry blossoms are in peak bloom. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Tosin Fakile in for Annalisa Gale. It is a beautiful day in the nation's capital, and here's why. The National Park Service made the official announcement this morning, and it was right on time. Peak bloom here, coming in on the exact same day NPS predicted the blossoms would hit their peak.
Now those crowds continue to grow, and we're bringing you team coverage. Meteorologist Damon Matson, he's standing by in studio with a check on the forecast if you're going out to see the cherry blossoms this weekend.
But first, let's go to DC News Now's Randy Bass with the assignment everybody probably wants today, live from the Tidal Basin. Randy, a lot of excitement there. Is Gee Whiz still with you is what I'm trying to figure out.
I think Gee Whiz went back up the streets of Capital One Arena, but you know who is here with me? About 2,000-3,000 other cherry blossom fans. The National Park Service said peak bloom this morning, and the world heard them loud and clear. I want to show you just these crowds that we have seen turn out here today. Just a wild amount of people, massive, massive crowds. This really is a sign of the season. It keeps getting better every year, and people keep coming back.
It's happening!
This is so special.
Millions of beautiful pink blossoms and thousands of visitors here at the Tidal Basin in time for peak bloom. Some of them seeing it all for the very first time.
This is incredible. We've been here before when they weren't in bloom, and this is just spectacular. I've seen like isolated cherry blossom trees here and there, but not like this.
Since we're retired, we can pretty much time it with peak bloom and just come in and be patient with the crowds, but it's worth it.
Worth braving those crowds that the National Park Service says will only grow over the next few days and weeks.
We're going to see 1.5 million people out here over the next 4 weeks of the National Cherry Blossom Festival.
And for local artist Justin Piles,
it's really just a wonderful opportunity for DC to showcase all that's best about it.
The blossoms and the people have inspired him and his work for decades, bringing his brushes and boards back to the Tidal Basin year after year.
The architecture behind as a setting for all these blossoming trees, and of course the whole America and the world comes to enjoy it with us. So it's sort of a party that DC for 1, 2, 3 weeks throws for the whole world, and it's just a wonderful experience.
Yes, and it is starting to sprinkle out here again. It has sprinkled off and on throughout the afternoon, but that doesn't make these cherry blossoms any less beautiful. People are still braving the little bit of rain that we've seen, but if you want to come out here tomorrow, I think that is going to be your best shot this weekend. Beautiful weather, plus plenty of activities to get in and on this weekend too. You've got the Kite Festival over at the Washington Monument, just a few steps away from where we are now, and a few blocks that way over at the Wharf. You've got Bloomaroo with plenty of live music, food, drinks, and a pink fireworks show to finish things off tomorrow night. A lot of excitement here at the Tidal Basin. We'll send things back to you guys. For now, in Southwest DC, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Yeah, Randy, a lot of people, a lot of excitement there.
And I'm really jealous of you, Randy. So I know you said you plan to be back out there tomorrow. I might be back out there tomorrow too, just to soak it all in. All right, Randy, thank you. And
Give me a call.
I'll call you. We'll go together. Plan. It's a date. And we have a lot of other cherry blossom themed events that you do not want to miss this weekend. The 27th annual Cherry Blossom Freedom Walk. The free event is at the National Japanese American Memorial. That's Saturday starting at 9 a.m. And people people will also be able to enjoy the Japanese percussion instruments at the Sakura Taiko Fest. The event features several groups from across the country. They'll play at Sylvan Theater from noon to 5 all weekend long. And there's also afternoon tea in the park. People will enjoy tea from several businesses and DuPont Circle. That free event is Sunday from 12 to 2.
And an important reminder, if you're going to take the Metro, the Smithsonian Station is your closest stop. It'll take you right to the National Mall, but the less crowded Metro stops include LaFont Plaza, the Archives, or the Federal Triangle. That's about a 20-minute walk to the Tidal Basin.
And don't forget, there's special edition Cherry Blossom Metro cards available right now. You can get them at Metro Center, Navy Yard, Ballpark, LaFont Plaza, and Smithsonian stations. There are only 20,000 of these limited edition cards.
All right, well, let's get over to meteorologist Damon Matson with a check on our forecast. Damon, you mentioned that we had a chance of rain. Randy said it was a light drizzle down there at the Tidal Basin.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on that possibility of rain. I know Tosin heard me say that. Not happy, but hey, we are just trying to be prepared in case we do run into a little bit of that rainfall. Mother Nature's given us a nice day so far for peak bloom, but yes, folks down at the Tidal Basin likely to be running into a few of those showers at this point. And here we go. It took all day, but the rainfall off to the west, it was chipping away slowly but surely at all the dry air that we've had over the DMV for the last few days, and now it's finally starting to break through. We do have a steadier shower working right across the I-270 spur here, southern Montgomery County from Rockville over to Silver Spring. A little bit of that rain stretches down the Beltway, then in Fairfax County over toward Falls Church, Annandale, Fairfax as well. And these showers have been holding on, so within the next 10-15 minutes, we're likely to see a little bit more rainfall in the district right down by the Tidal Basin as well. But the good news is this rainfall is short-lived. It's moving on at a pretty rapid pace, and there's the latest update. Yeah, that rain has just pushed into the district. So we're going to see this little bit of soggy weather for the next few hours. 6, 7 o'clock, we'll continue to see these isolated showers push through, but already by 8 o'clock, pretty much we're done with the rainfall. After that, you won't need to worry about keeping a rain jacket handy. It will just continue to be cloudy for a bit of time. And look at these temperatures. It got warm today, and it's not exactly going to be cooling off very quickly as we head into the overnight hours. So what does that mean for our temperatures this weekend, especially on Saturday? And will there be any more rainfall in the mix over the next couple of days? We'll have your full forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. We'll talk to you in just a bit. Developing right now, President Donald Trump urging the House to pass a funding fix for D.C.'s budget.
And he made that ask on Truth Social earlier today. The Senate passed legislation 2 weeks ago allowing D.C. to continue to operate under its 2025 budget. This after Congress's spending bill reverted D.C. back to an old budget, resulting in a $1 billion budget cut.
And that bill now in the hands of the House, which has been back in session for a week.
And that request, it comes just hours after the president signed a new executive order targeting D.C.
He's creating a new federal task force to make the city, quote, safe and beautiful. DC News Now's Mariel Carbone live on Capitol Hill for us. And Mariel, how are people responding to this?
Tosin and Mark, this new executive order isn't unexpected, but for some we spoke to today, it still feels like a slap in the face. We know earlier this week, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., who was appointed by the president, really pledged a commitment to working with the community, but the new task force and executive order is really void of any community input.
We're talking about the autonomy of our city right now.
For D.C. advocate Ron Moten, the latest executive order signed by President Trump is a direct assault on the community and home rule.
There's an attack on us.
In part, the order creates the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, charged with making D.C. beautiful and prosperous by preventing crime, punishing criminals, and preserving order, among other things. It's made up of members from 9 federal agencies. No local elected officials are included.
When I look at the executive order and I look at all the partners, it reminds me of back when it was a war on people, black people. It was supposed to be a war on drugs. and it destroyed our community.
The task force will focus on the prompt removal and cleanup of all homeless camps and graffiti on federal land, maximum enforcement of federal immigration law, and deploying a more robust law enforcement presence.
The encouragement of additional enforcement and more use of force is especially concerning.
Patrice Sultan with the D.C. Justice Lab says the order reframes old tough-on-crime policies and doesn't address any root causes of crime.
To do that takes a lot of work, but it also takes a lot of knowledge about our city. It's its own organism. It has its own identity and culture.
She and others asking those on Capitol Hill to consider the implications of what they're doing.
Don't let an ink pen become a weapon.
And the mayor responding today only by posting on social media to say that she hopes the House does pass that budget fix so that the district can pass its own budget coming up in its budget process and work on keeping the city clean and safe. Mark and Tosin, Eleanor Holmes Norton, our congresswoman, taking a little bit more of a pointed response here, calling this an insult on the 700,000 people who live here in the district. Reporting live from Capitol Hill, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, thank you. Another new executive order from the president taking aim at funding for the Smithsonian Museums.
The focus is programs that contain what he calls divisive narratives. The president claims there have now been a concerted and widespread effort over the past decade to rewrite American history. His executive order puts Vice President J.D. Vance in charge of an effort to remove improper ideology from Smithsonian museums, education and research centers, and the National Zoo. So far, there have been no public response from museum officials.
To Maryland now, Prince George's County Police are looking to make an arrest in an early morning shooting in Clinton. Police arrived at Plata Street shortly after 7 this morning. They found the man who had been shot outside. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are still investigating a motive in the case.
The 3 suspects arrested for a string of retail thefts targeting Ulta beauty stores in Maryland and Virginia. Investigators linked a 21-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a teen to 15 thefts dating back to summer 2024. They say the suspects would steal high-end fragrances and leave before police arrived. They allegedly stole over $190,000 worth of merchandise.
A big moment for Metro. Customers took a combined 1 million bus and rail trips yesterday. It's the highest ridership day since March 2020. Yesterday, Metro also celebrated 48 years of service.